Yo, Everyday Superpower, where we talk communications, how to get what you want when you want, and how to understand other people outside of their awareness. All right, we're gonna jump headfirst into some game today, as we always do. So, thank you for being present. I'm gonna start this one for a change with a cute little Japanese folk tale. So, get your ear holes ready, people. There once lived a samurai who was plagued by a large and clever rat who had run of the house. This annoyed the samurai to no end, so he went to the village to buy a cat. A street vendor sold him a cat that he said would catch the rat, and indeed the cat looked fit and trim. But the rat was even quicker than the cat, and after a week with no success, the samurai returned the cat. This time the vendor pulled out a large and grizzled cat, and guaranteed that no rat could escape this master mouser. The rat knew enough to stay clear of this tough alley cat, but when the cat slept, the rat ran about. Half the day the rat would hide, but the other half he again had run of the place. The samurai brought the cat back to the vendor, who shook his head in despair, saying he had given the samurai his best cat and there was nothing more he could do. Returning home with his money, the samurai happened upon a monk and sought his advice. After hearing the samurai's story, the monk offered him the services of the cat that lived in the temple. The cat was old and fat, but he scarcely seemed to notice when he was being carried away by the doubtful samurai. For 2 weeks the cat did little more than sleep all day and night. The samurai wanted to give the cat back to the temple, but the monk insisted he keep him a while longer, assuring him the rat's days were close to an end. The rat became accustomed to the presence of the lazy old cat, and was soon up to his old tricks, even, on occasion, brazenly dancing around the old cat as he slept. Then one day, as the rat went about his business without any concern, he passed close by the cat, who swiftly struck out his paw and pinned the rat to the floor. The rat died instantly. Okay? So, we're going to talk about being dumb today. We're going to talk about playing dumb. Alright? Always seem dumber than the people who you are engaging with. And now, this doesn't necessarily relate to friendships and family and so on and so forth. It does within reason, but more so from a business standpoint, from an acquaintance standpoint, from meeting new people. Ensure that they feel in the best way superior to you. And it sounds ridiculous, but this is how you're going to learn. This is how you're gonna get through life without stepping on toes. And like the cat who swiftly struck out his paw and pinned the rat to the floor, when it is time to react, if you feel like they're taking advantage of you, if you feel like you need to showcase a little bit of your true self in order to get what you want, it will come with such shock and reality that not only will you create an enigma of yourself, but you will create an incredible impact with those whom you are engaging with. Now, I thought I would do this discussion through business dealings I tend to have with people who are a little bit older than me and want to feel comfortable around me. I mean, I go to the gym, I train, I'm relative young in comparison to these people. I look after myself and I'm not going to go out of my way to try and excel in the verbal and intellectual arena because I feel like I'm taking up enough space already to potentially step on the toes of others. You have to be introspective, right? And getting overweight and unhealthy for the sake of pleasing others doesn't That's not in my forte. That's not what I want to do. So we're talking about playing dumb. Now, when you play dumb, you can ask questions. And once somebody becomes accustomed to, your empty glass perspective of the world, as opposed to a full glass as to where it's all me, 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 I already know that, or I've already had that experience, okay? They will teach you more and they will start to feel comfortable in teaching you a lot about what they know. And this is the most efficient way of feeding your brain with brilliant information with people who excel in particular spaces. When you meet somebody who inspires you and motivates you, you don't want to sit there and start talking about yourself. You want to ask and learn. All right? Paradoxically, you're the wise one. Whereas superficially on the outside, on the external, from the outside looking in, it looks like they are the wise one and you are the fool, but they say that the wise man listens and laughs. Okay, so we use our ears. This is simply a different perspective on listening and not talking, being limited with our conversation, but highlight what you don't know as opposed to what you do know. Okay? And when we play dumb, we don't tell people that we are observing and learning and assessing and, these elements of ourselves which could make someone feel uncomfortable, intimidated, put them in competition. You create familiarity, friendship, and then potentially if the person is of quality and you find an affinity with the individual, hopefully their true self or, characteristics of their true self, then you might be able to show a little more of you and who you really are. But everywhere you go, you play dumb. If I need something from someone, and when I say someone, I don't mean my friends, I mean my superiors. If I'm in a business situation and I know somebody's got something I want, and I need to very, very, very steadily step foot and sort of poke into that space without being so brazen and bold that I am just incredibly overt and brash in asking for what I need. An assumption on their end that I am in some way intellectually inferior is definitely going to go a long way, because how can I do them wrong? How can I get the better end of the deal? Because they're a step ahead from me, but we're playing chess. We've assessed, analysed, done our research. We just don't talk about it. We don't go out of our way to let the world know what we have going on. We're smart people, we're interested in other people, we observe and assess people, we're looking at the way they look at us, and we are reading their non-verbal communications, but they don't know we're doing that. So we play dumb, yeah? When people are trying to manipulate you, when people come into your life and are wanting something from you, and put you in position that might be detrimental to your own sake, when someone's trying to sell you something spiritually, physically, financially, someone's trying to sell you something, sit back and inquire. Oh yeah, yeah. What? Why? Why should I have that? That sounds good. Yeah, yeah. Just listen to them talk and watch them, and start to hear the stuttering and buttering and the wobbles of the voice and the excitement and the surprise when you start to inquire in genuine attention to something they're very well aware of as poisonous. Oh, he is interested. I think I've got a sale here. And like I said, we're not talking about a product. It could be anything. It could be an idea, a movement. Sign this contract here. And you're just going down the contract. Let's say it's a physical contract and you find something which you clearly identify as dodgy. Oh, I was just wondering what that meant. And listen to him explain. Oh yeah, yeah, all right then. And then you don't sign shit. You know it's dodgy, but pick their brains a bit. Let them struggle a bit. Let them fall into your trap. Yeah. Keep moving onwards. Keep moving onwards. And when it's time to open up your eyes as the sleepy cat and strike and kill the rat, you can do that. You know where I'm coming from? Imagine that. 1 hour of thinking you're silly. 1 day of thinking you're silly. 1 week, 1 year, 1 decade of thinking you're daft. And then when the time comes for you to get what you need, they will not expect it. It's the blitzkrieg. It's the SSS, the short, sharp shock. It's terrorism. What's terrorism? It's striking terror through the sudden, the unknown, unsettling one with something so bizarre and unorthodox and outside of your character. Where is this? This is you. And don't get me wrong, we're not talking about dealing with normal people, but people who try to take advantage of you. Always play dumb around these people. Feel them out. The thing is, on the flip side, you can try to be smart. All right. So you're flirting on the edge of your intellectual boundaries in whichever field when you're trying to be smart. Potentially you're trying to be smarter than you actually are in your conversations and communications. Now what you're doing is not only annoying the other person because they just want to talk about themselves and they do not want to feel intellectually inferior to no one, right? It's one of the deepest insults you could give to the main character, which is who they are inside of their own head. They perceive reality through their eyes. They make their choices, right? Everything they've done has led up to this moment in their life, right? So don't insult them by saying I'm smarter than you through whichever means. They don't care about that. But when you're flirting on the edge of your intelligence, there's nothing more to give other than lying to yourself and the others. Whereas when you're playing dumb and only giving 20% of what exists within your understanding and know-how, and I'm not saying go out of your way to not show your colours, but let's say me, for example, and I'm getting to know someone and they say what you're interested in and so on and so forth. Bruh, I more or less live a double life because there are some things I don't want people to know about. Yeah, when it comes to the workplace and when it comes to outside of the work, I would rather be perceived as a different individual because some extremes of identity don't mix well, and sometimes you don't know who you're dealing with and you don't want them to know too much, right? Let's say you have a family you want to protect, you have friends you want to protect, and you don't know who you're dealing with. I've met some psychotic people in my life, right, through the fields I've worked with, and I've met some sociopathic people. I've met some Machiavellian people. And this is why we play dumb to feel them out. You don't know much at all. What do you do on the weekend? Ah, not too much. I just look after someone or I just chill out for the most part. You know. Why go express everything that makes you you and become but a caricature of yourself? Just be normal and blend in. Be the cat. Be the sleeping cat. And then when the time comes for you to get what you want, you're already set up in position. These secret services that exist in the world, these three-letter services, three-letter organizations, what's the most powerful element of these businesses? It's the intelligence, it's the information they gather while staying low-key. What can you tell me about the people who run the social medias? What information do you have? Because they can tell you more about yourself. That's for definite. They've kept quiet, giving you the tools to hang yourself, you see? It sort of links in with always saying less than necessary, doesn't it, really? Blend in. Be a low threat profile. And when the time comes where you need to make a point, you're locked and loaded. Play dumb, I'm signing out.